Um, I want to talk to you about the oil spill and the fallout from that. Um, you've you said at the Novell debate the other night that you would oppose the 6-month moratorium on new offshore drilling. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, I see our oil supply as a national security concern. I mean, we're sending $500 billion a year to other countries to buy our oil. I don't think that's wise or sustainable or anything but suicidal to continue in that trend and then to say we're going to produce even less oil domestically than we now are, especially when we have ways of producing oil, both onshore and offshore, that are proven, that are safe, and that, with this one exception, have never created a disaster like this one. Now, this disaster is tragic, to be sure. There's no question about that. But I also have no question that we can prevent that from happening again. It didn't happen for the many decades we've been involved in that business. I think we can prevent it in the future. We'll be in an even better position to do it. I think it also reemphasizes the need for more onshore drilling. I think we've got to start drilling in ANWR. We've got tens of billions of barrels up there, and we're not drilling it, even though we can produce it in an environmentally sensitive manner. We're not, and we need to start doing that. I think we need to start producing more oil here in Utah. We need to start producing more oil from oil shale in Utah, Colorado, and Wyoming in particular. And because we've got the resources. We don't have to send $500 billion a year overseas, a lot of it to countries where there are a lot of people who don't like us very much.
Currently, there's a cap on damages that BP would be expected to pay. It's about $75 million. There's legislation that Bill Nelson sponsored to increase that level to $10 billion. The oil companies say that would put them out of business.
10 million or 10 billion?
10 billion. Is that something you would be supportive of, is increasing that cap on the liability for environmental damage?
No.
Why is that?
This company has relied, this entire industry has relied on assurances provided by law. Now, had that cap not been in place, then we would be facing a completely different question. But you have a set of settled expectations that you give to a business when it decides to make the investment in this. Our country benefits from this type of activity, and it allows us to produce more oil and allows more of our petrodollars to remain right here in the United States. They've relied on that. To take that away, I think, would be a mistake.
Does that leave taxpayers on the hook for part of the damage?
Well, yeah, it probably does. And the government can look at that and say, look, we put this damages cap in place, so we understood what that meant.
Isn't that equivalent to a bailout?
I don't think that's equivalent to a bailout. I think that's the government saying that there are some things that it's going to. I mean, if you look at the Outer Continental Shelf, it's something over which the United States has jurisdiction. And the United States wants to clean that up, then it's free to do so. There's nothing in that liability cap that requires the federal government to do it. Well, I'm not sure that necessarily means the taxpayers will end up paying the bill. It may be that industry generally will contribute to it. In fact, I would expect that other people involved in offshore drilling would have a part in the cleanup because they would want to, because they would want to show that this can be done safely and that when disasters do happen, it can be cleaned up.